In a kingdom shrouded by the shadow of an arrogant ruler, the air was heavy with discontent and disharmony. The king's pride not only strained his relations with neighboring monarchs, but also alienated the very people he was meant to lead. In hushed whispers and fervent conversations, the citizens openly criticized his behavior and attitude, yearning for a leader who would embody humility and compassion. Amidst this tumultuous backdrop, a revered sage traversed the land, his reputation preceding him like a gentle breeze, carrying tales of wisdom. Word of the sage's arrival reached the ears of the king, piquing his interest and arousing a flicker of curiosity beneath his layers of arrogance. Despite his haughty disposition, the king possessed a keen intellect and an innate hunger for knowledge. Eager to witness the sage's reputed wisdom firsthand, the king ordered his guards to summon the sage to his grand palace. However, destiny had other plans in store. Before the guards could carry out the king's command, the sage, guided by an invisible force, made his way to the palace unannounced, bypassing the bewildered gatekeepers as if they were mere apparitions. Upon discovering the sage's audacious act, the king's countenance flushed with anger, his blood boiling in his veins. He stormed towards the sage, his voice resonating with fury and indignation. "Who dares to barge into my palace without permission?" the king thundered, his voice reverberating through the grand halls. Unfazed by the king's outburst, the sage stood his ground, his eyes twinkling with a tranquil wisdom that seemed to transcend the mortal realm. With a voice that carried the weight of centuries, he responded, "O great king, I seek nothing more than a place to rest for the night. Would you be kind enough to offer me shelter in this inn?" The king's anger erupted like a volcano, spewing molten words of rebuke. He scoffed at the sage's request, his voice dripping with disdain. "This is not an inn, you fool. This is my royal palace, a place of grandeur and power. Go find an inn elsewhere, where you belong." Undeterred by the king's raging ego, the sage's smile remained serene, as if he held the key to a secret treasure trove of enlightenment. Seizing the opportunity to impart his timeless wisdom, he probed further, his voice gentle yet laden with significance. "Very well, Your Majesty. Please indulge me with an answer to a question. Whose palace was this before it became yours?" Caught off guard by the sage's unexpected inquiry, the king's demeanor softened for a fleeting moment. He paused, his mind racing to retrieve the dusty memories of his lineage. After a contemplative silence, he finally responded, "This palace belonged to my father before it came into my possession." The sage nodded knowingly, his eyes filled with an ancient understanding that transcended the boundaries of time. Undeterred, he continued his gentle interrogation, his voice as soothing as a babbling brook. "And pray tell, whose palace was it before your father claimed it as his own?" The king's arrogance wavered as he reluctantly admitted, the words escaping his lips like a sigh of surrender. "It was my grandfather's palace, revered sage." With a knowing smile that mirrored the wisdom of ages, the sage weaved his words into a tapestry of enlightenment. "O great king, just as weary travelers seek refuge in an inn for a short while, so too have generations of kings resided in this palace. Your grandfather had his turn, followed by your father, and now it is your time to sit on the throne. But remember, tomorrow it will be someone else's turn. So why do you let arrogance cloud your heart over something that is only temporarily yours?" As the sage's words reverberated through the corridors of the king's mind, a profound realization dawned upon him, like the first light of day after a long and arduous night. The grandeur and power he held were merely fleeting, passing from one ruler to the next with the ever-changing tides of time. The crown upon his head, the opulence surrounding him, these were but transitory gifts bestowed upon him by the sands of fate. Overwhelmed by a newfound humility, the king's knees buckled beneath the weight of his realization. He fell to the ground before the sage, his proud facade shattered like fragile glass, revealing the vulnerable soul that lay beneath. With tears streaming down his face, he took a solemn oath to shed his arrogance forever, vowing to become a king worthy of his subjects' respect and love. And so, a metamorphosis took place within the king's heart. He embarked on a journey of self-reflection and growth, guided by the sage's timeless wisdom. The once arrogant king learned to wield his power not as a symbol of dominance, but as a tool of compassion and justice. He listened to the concerns and aspirations of his people, valuing their opinions and seeking their welfare above all else. Under the king's transformed leadership, the kingdom flourished. The people, once disillusioned and disheartened, felt a renewed sense of hope and belonging. The king initiated reforms that aimed to uplift the lives of his subjects, ensuring fair distribution of resources and opportunities for all. The neighboring kingdoms, initially wary of the king's intentions, soon witnessed the profound changes taking place within his realm. Intrigued and inspired, they sought to establish diplomatic ties and engage in collaborative endeavors. The king, now a beacon of humility and wisdom, welcomed these gestures with open arms, fostering a spirit of cooperation and unity among the realms. Word of the king's transformation spread far and wide, captivating the hearts and minds of people from distant lands. Visitors flocked to the kingdom, not only to witness its newfound prosperity, but also to seek guidance and inspiration from the king himself. They were captivated by his humility, his ability to empathize with their struggles, and his unwavering commitment to justice. As the years passed, the legacy of the humble king became etched in the annals of history. Songs were composed, poems written, and tales narrated, all extolling the virtues of a ruler who had defied his own ego and embraced the path of humility. The kingdom thrived under his enlightened rule, becoming a shining example of a harmonious and prosperous society. The moral of this enlightening encounter resonates deeply within the hearts of all who hear this tale. It reminds us that the wealth and possessions we accumulate in this world are merely borrowed for a fleeting moment. We are but transient custodians of these riches, entrusted with the responsibility to nurture and share them. The crown we wear, the power we hold, they do not define us. It is our actions, our capacity for empathy and humility that truly make us great. In a world that often celebrates arrogance and self-centeredness, this tale serves as a gentle reminder of the transformative power of humility. It teaches us to look beyond the ephemeral trappings of wealth and status and to embrace the inherent interconnectedness of all living beings. By shedding the cloak of arrogance and embracing humility, we open ourselves to a world of compassion, understanding, and profound personal growth. So let us heed the sage's words and embark on our own journeys of self-discovery. Let us strive to become humble leaders in our own lives, fostering harmony and goodwill in our relationships and communities. For it is through humility that we unlock the true potential within ourselves and create a world where kindness and empathy reign supreme.